And this is brought to you by Bowtech Archery. Go to bowtecharchery.com. Go to loophole.com, Loophole Optics. Onyx Maps, save 20% by using promo code Randy out at onyxmaps.com. We're really going to get into the Go Hunt Insider tonight because we're going to talk about Wyoming. The Wyoming Elk Regulations just came out this week, and everybody should be applying and going elk hunting in Wyoming this year. So, go to gohunt.com, use their insider, and get $50 of free gear shop credit when you use promo code Randy. Now, I already answered a question about Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls, right? If you go to RockyMountainHuntingCalls.com and use promo code Randy, you save 15%. Also brought to you by Tight Spot Quivers, Ripcord Rests, and Black Gold Sights. I think I got it. All right, now we're going to get to some serious questions here, folks. Someone says videos are up on Amazon, and I was just watching them. Thanks, Brian. Are the new ones up there? We loaded 4 more a month ago, and I sent a reminder to the folks that are supposed to approve them out in the Cyberland. Hopefully they get approved. Someone was listening to our podcast. The bills that I was talking about on the podcast in the Montana legislature the other day, they're on the Montana legislature website. When am I going to hunt northern Utah? I already hunted there. I hunted elk there in 2014. It's out on our YouTube channel. So let's see. Someone says they need some llamas. Yep, I think you do. Randy, what are your thoughts on a 4 to 14 power scope as an all-purpose scope on a 308? Perfect, great, go for it, buy it. VX3i probably is what I'd go with on that, with the CDS. Oh, Cody said that 4 new episodes finally got approved on Amazon. Woohoo! What do you know? And we got 2 more we submitted also. So there's supposed to be a total of 11 for season 6. And now we're editing out season 7. We're getting after it. I should apply for Wisconsin. Laugh out loud. Probably not going to. Is there anything to apply for in Wisconsin? I don't think non-residents can apply for those elk tags. That you had 10 of them this year. Randy, I see you never use a Remington 7mm mag. What is your thoughts? My thought is I use a 7mm 08, which is a 308 neck down to the same diameter bullet as a 7mm mag. And I just get almost the same performance out of a 7mm 08 as you will out of a mag, and it's just way easier on the rifle, less recoil, shorter action, lighter rifle, all that. So, let's see. What's the price on the llamas? I don't think they're for sale. Oh, wait, Bo's having an auction in June, isn't he, Marcus?
I believe so.
Yeah, you could go buy one in June. Our buddy Bo, go subscribe to his YouTube channel, Wilderness Ridge Trail Llamas, and maybe you'll find out. Go to his auction and maybe you can buy one. Let's see. What wild game is being served for Christmas? Probably duck. Hey, did you guys see Marcus's duck bacon recipe on our YouTube channel this week? Whew, it's great. We've had it. We hijacked that recipe from Jonathan Odell down in Arizona. It is really, 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 really good. So if you like ducks, go watch Marcus's recipe. It's really easy and it's really good. Let's see. Have I ever had any problems with my Bowtech limbs? Nope, never have. I've been shooting Bowtech since 2000, I don't know when I bought the first one. 2009, I think, is when I bought my first Bowtech. Maybe 2010, something like that. Never had a problem. They're way more talented than I am. Someone says, any thoughts on the Devil's Elbow or Salt Chuck cabins for a bear hunt? I've hunted out of one of them. I'm not going to say which one, but I have hunted. We're talking Southeast Alaska. Is a 270 Winchester short mag enough for elk? Easily. The 270 short mag is a better ballistic cartridge than the regular 270 Winchester. I've killed or five elk with a 270 Winchester. So Winchester short mag, even a better round, not a problem. Don't worry about it. Get premium bullets. I use, the premium bullets I use for elk are all Nosler, either Accubon, E-tip, or Partitions. Use some high quality bullet and you're going to be just fine. Randy, what state do you suggest to hunt for elk for a first-time elk hunter? Boy, that's tough. My favorite state to hunt elk is Arizona, but drawing a tag there can at times be a little bit challenge if you want the premium tags. Colorado has over-the-counter tags, has the largest elk herd in the country, has a lot of public land. Depends on what you're looking for. Arizona, Colorado, or Wyoming. If you're an archery hunter, Montana is in the mix. So, do I know if the Coues deer hunting in New Mexico is any good? I don't know. I've not hunted there. I've hunted just across the border over in Arizona, and it's really, really good. Really good. Wow, you guys are... How do we have that many questions? My goodness. Whew. Randy, do you know what elk calls are good? Yeah, the elk calls made by Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls. Go to RockyMountainHuntingCalls.com, use promo code Randy and save 15%. They're good. Trust me on that. I'm not that good of a caller, and even I can call in elk with those ones. So here's some things we need to talk about, some things you need to know. And right now I got here pulled up on my computer is my Go Hunt Insider service. And you hear me talk about that a lot. And the reason is when Wyoming and then Arizona and whatever, when they come out with their regulations, I spend so much time out on this insider service researching. This, what we're going to talk about in Wyoming, what you need to know is that the application period is from January 1st to January 31st. That's when non-residents get to apply. You need to also understand that this year, in Wyoming, you have to front all the money. You have to put it all in at the time you apply. If you don't draw, they hold back $15 for your application fee. And if you purchase a preference point, they keep that money also. This year, they're charging a 2.5% credit card fee on top of all that. So, beauty of Wyoming is it's probably the best mix of quality and quantity. And if you're patient, you can draw a tag in Wyoming every 3 to 4 years. If you're lucky, maybe even more often. Because in Wyoming, 75% of the tags go in a pot where they draw them all based on how many preference points you have. The other 25% are just in a random draw. So if you have 0 points and someone else has 12, in that random draw, each of you are treated equally. So always throw your name in the hat. You never know if you're going to draw one of those random tags. So for me, when I think about Wyoming, I think about how they have long seasons. If you are an archer, in most units you get with the same tag, you get to hunt September 1st through 30th in the archery season if you buy your archery stamp. And then if you don't fill that tag, you can go and hunt the rifle seasons, which are usually in October. Maybe if it's a type 2 tag, it's in November. So a lot of opportunity, a lot of public land, really, really good elk in Wyoming. Should be thinking about it. Remember, application period, January 1, January 31st. You'll find out sometime the last week of February. And I should just pull up a page here. You wouldn't be able to see it, but so the Go Hunt Insider has these strategy articles. It's pages and pages of things you should be thinking about just for elk in Wyoming. And I read these. Brady does them down at Go Hunt, and he does an amazing job. I read them start to finish, and even if it wasn't for the fact that they had the best draw odds out there and the most accurate draw odds, these strategy articles are worth every penny of the subscription. So if you go to gohunt.com and you sign up for the Insider, you use promo code Randy, and you're going to get $50 of free credit in their gear shop, and they have a serious gear shop. Is Sitka gear really worth it? I'm wearing this Sitka vest. Yeah, it's really worth it. At least if you spend as much time in it as I do. Before we started the show, I was buying Sitka at full retail. You can ask our guest hunters. The first year, I bought Sitka, I bought Under Armour, I bought all kinds of different brands. And we tried it that first season, and everybody said Sitka gear. Well, then the second season, I had to go buy at full retail, out of my own pocket, gear for every guest hunter we had, Sitka gear. And we did that for the next 3 years. Finally, I think it was our 4th year where Sitka said, hey, why are you buying that at full retail? We should send you some. So I tell that story because most of the products you see us use, I've been using long before anybody decided to sponsor us. I'm more interested in what works rather than, well, I use a lot of stuff that I don't get paid for. So to the question the person had is it worth it? I think it is. And even when I was paying full retail for it, that's what I was buying. So, best piece of advice to hunters new to elk hunting on a do-it-yourself archery hunt, Colorado during the rut. Like I told the person prior just a little bit ago, the top 2 things I'd say is never let your guard down as it relates to the wind. And then be mobile. Move, because the elk are moving across the landscape in the rut. You got to be moving across that landscape. So, how do I like my new spotting scope? I really like it. I wish I had it with me. It's out in my vehicle. I really like it. It's the new Santium. Leupold came out with it this year. I started using it. I got mine in late September. Really like it. Very good. So someone says, I'm researching a unit in Wyoming with tough access, no corner crossing. Would you suggest I look into a trespass fee for access to a large landlocked public area? I don't know. I leave that up to everybody. You know, if that fits your budget, if it's what you want to do, and it can get you hunting, go do it. You know, some people would say, I don't have the money, and so they're gonna go work it out on public land. So that's really up to each person. If that works for you, go do it. Jeff asks, have you ever had your gear messed with at your tent while hunting the backcountry? Not that I know of. And when I say not that I know of, if someone came there and messed it up or put it back or looked at, I've never shown up to my camp and found that stuff was missing. Let's put it that way. Ever hunt elk in California? No, I've not. It's very hard to get a tag there. How many llamas do I own? I own 0, but this year I rented 4 of them full time for most of September, October, and part of November. Do you really need a GPS if you have the OnX app? No, you don't. If you have the OnX app, don't even bother buying a GPS. Just make sure you know how to use it offline, because sometimes you're not going to be where there's service, and there's a whole way you use it differently if you're offline and away from service. Carry a backup, because even on airplane mode, when you're running your GPS in these areas, which we always run them on airplane mode, it still will eat up your battery, and you just may as well carry one of those little extra charging Mophis or whatever those little charging kits are. Just have one of those with you. Non-resident archery hunter with 2 points in Wyoming. Worth it to go special draw or regular draw? So this is a good question. If you read out on the Go Hunt Insider, you'll realize that Wyoming has a special draw and a regular draw. So 60% of the non-resident tags go in the regular draw, and then 40% go in the special draw. Same exact tag, same hunt date, same everything, other than the special draw is more expensive by, I think, almost $500. So if you want the better draw odds, you go in the special draw. So this person is asking, should I pay the extra money to go in the special draw if I only have 2 points? It depends on what your budget is and how bad you want to go elk hunting. For me, I always do the special draw. Just how I do it. I don't like that idea. When Wyoming decided to split this between regular and special probably 10, 12 years ago, I hated it. I wrote to the commission. I told them this is a bad idea, but hey, I'm a non-resident. They're going to do what they're going to do. Uh-oh, our Instagram camera just tipped over here.
Really great tape job.
Oh, this is so funny. We got to quit trying to do so many things at one time. Let's see. Will a bull elk go back to its bed if it's been spooked? No. My experience is they're getting out of Dodge. Randy, will you be at the sheep show in Reno in February? Yep. Marcus is working on a film that's going to premiere Thursday night at the sheep show in Reno, Nevada on, I believe, February 7th or 8th, whatever that Thursday night is. Where was the text saying you had a live chat going? What did I miss? You didn't. It didn't go out, is what I've been told. If you want to get text whenever we go live, text Randy to, what's that number? 64600. So 64600. So you didn't miss anything, but that's the way you get on the list going forward. Let's see. Fixed blade or mechanical blade for elk? Not even a question. Fixed blade. If you ask around enough people who've been using mechanicals on elk, you'll hear some stories of, I don't think I need to try that. So I've always been a fixed blade guy, and based on some of the stories I've heard from guys who've tried mechanical blades on elk, and I'm not saying every time, I'm talking about sharp angles, quartering away, uphill, downhill. They've had some pretty interesting outcomes, so I'm going to stick with my fixed blade for elk for sure. Let's see. John is answering a question for me. Do I do much shed hunting is what Daniel asks, and John says no, he puts them in a tree. I do. So if you go somewhere and you're elk hunting and you see a bunch of sheds in a tree, there's a really good chance that maybe we've been through there. Don't see you live on your Facebook page. I know, we're having some sort of crazy Facebook issues tonight. I'm not sure why. Someone says, how about prototype rifles? So, what's your input, Randy? Had a lot of success with them this year. I'm meeting with them in a couple weeks. We're going to go over everything, but they got a bunch. So, they always have some new ideas going on. So, we get talking last summer, and we're like, well, let's try this, let's try that, yeah, and they work great. The season isn't even over this year, and they call me, hey, we got this idea, we got that idea. So it's always a work in I don't know if work in progress, but it's always an experiment with them. And it was really, really good. It worked, yeah, really good. Someone wants to know what's the best duck hunting areas closest to Missoula, Montana. I don't know. I live in Bozeman. I've never hunted near Missoula, Montana. And if I knew, I surely wouldn't tell you. Nothing personal, but we never give out GPS coordinates. We never give out drainages or specifics. And if you're watching our content, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. Every once in a while, we'll put a clip of a landscape scene in there that might be in there just to throw you off. So, word of caution. Let's see. What bipod do I use? Caldwell. Caldwell shooting supplies. They're one of the many brands under Battenfeld. I use theirs. Someone says, come to Nevada. I try every year. I didn't get any Nevada tags last year, so I couldn't couldn't go. Maybe this coming year I'll get my chance. Holy cow. This is amazing how many questions you people have. Oofta. Oofta, yeah? You guys know where I'm from when I say oofta, right? Other than high draw odds, what do you look for in a unit while scouring go hunt as far as statistics go? That's a really good question, Mike. So I'm looking at the insider right here, and I'm scrolling down, and in this strategy article, they do a good job of looking at pretty much the same things I do. Here's the area. Here's its reasonable trophy potential if you find one of the better bulls. And here's the bull to cow ratio. Here's the harvest success. Here's the percent public land. I would say harvest success, bull to cow ratio, and percent public land are the three biggest things I look for. And right here, all right at my fingertips with the insider here with Go Hunt. So I used to do it with, I had file cabinets and I saved magazine articles, and this was before Al Gore invented the internet I'm talking about, and I had file cabinets full of stuff. Now it's right there at my fingertips, and I'm really, really thankful for that. And the insider is where it's at. So you doing the Arizona late season archery deer this year? Yep, we're going to be doing it. Marcus went down there 2 weeks ago and shot a Coues deer buck on a tag that took 0 points. Yeah, him and our buddy Wade went down there and they each shot one. So, but I'm a fool. I'm going back down there again with my bow tack. Gonna try arrow one. I'm so bad at that. Oh well. Randy, how do you hunt the Gila for elk every year? I don't. I don't draw it every year. I get that question all the time. Everyone must think that when I'm in New Mexico, I'm automatically in the Gila. I did draw a Gila tag in 2016. I drew my first choice. Prior to that, I think it was 2012 when I was down in that part of New Mexico. Yeah, so no, I don't draw it every year. Buying a new bow in Bozeman, Montana, where should I go? Easy, Big Sky Archery out on Jackrabbit Lane. Not even a question. You don't need an appointment. Someone says when Al Gore invented the internet, I think he predicted that On X and Go Hunt would come along. Peter wants to know, is Brian Call going hunting with you for Coues deer this year? Yeah, Brian is joining us. That's going to be a ton of fun. You people have some really cool questions. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the YouTube audience has funkier questions than the Facebook audience. I don't know. Randy, how often do you get full pass-throughs when archery hunting elk? What's the weight of your arrows? I know you've gone over this before, but I forgot. My total arrow weight is about 500 grains. My broadhead is 125 fixed blade. Yeah, I think only one time with an arrow have I not had a complete pass-through, but that was a very quartering away shot, and I made a bad shot. We recovered the elk, but it wasn't my best performance, let's put it that way. And I think if I would have released when I was ready, just as I was going to release, the bull turned and started going up out of the water hole. If I would have released a second earlier, it would have been perfect broadside. I think it would have had a complete pass-through. Am I coming to Utah next year for archery? Probably not. Not sure. Tim says, what's the hardest hunt you've been on, both mentally and physically? We did a backpack doll sheep hunt in Alaska in August of this year. I would say it was that one. Marcus is here. Marcus carried that camera gear up and down those mountains. It was epic. It's out there on our YouTube channel every day, but what is it, Marcus? 9 days, I think. Yeah. And those of you who follow our stuff, you might know that I've got a strange liver condition, and my liver was not giving me very good results on that hunt. It was really, really tough. So I'd say it's that one. If I find fresh tracks in a post rut, first rifle hunt in Colorado, do you hunt this area? I would, if the tracks look like they're just meandering and doing, a little bit of moving here, moving there, because they're probably feeding and they're nearby. If it's tracks that are just beelining somewhere, odds are I'm going to follow, kind of head the direction those tracks are headed, because they're going somewhere. They're probably not going to be milling around and be where I'm going to be. But with that early season, I might have a little exception to that, in that if I'm seeing lots of tracks, that might be a travel pattern. In the very first rifle season in Colorado, the first day or two when the shooting starts, the rest of the elk might also be using that travel corridor. So I might hunt there. It would depend on a lot of factors, but possibly. Someone caught it. Someone says, hey, wait a minute. Did you give GPS coordinates for the Statue of Liberty? Yeah. I wondered if someone would ever catch that. In our old On Your Own Adventure show, we put GPS coordinates at the opening of the show, and it was somewhere out in the Pacific Ocean. And some guy, he emailed me and said, that's a bunch of BS. That's way out in the ocean. Yeah, I know. So I'm trying to remember where we put that. It was just in the last couple of weeks. I answered something and I gave coordinates for the Statue of Liberty. Someone actually went and searched the coordinates. That's cool. Someone's asking, are wolf, bear, and mountain lion tags over the counter in Idaho? I believe so. I don't know if they are on mountain lion. That's not something I've hunted, but I know they are in all but 2 units, I think, for bear. There's 2 draw units, if I remember right. And for wolf, I believe they're over the counter also. Someone says, I'm glad your shirt isn't inside out. Me too. Can you tell bull tracks from big cow tracks? Yeah, really easy. Once you've started following elk tracks for very long, you'll quickly realize that a cow track is, I'm going to say, about like that. And it's more round. A bull track is going to be like that, and it's going to be longer than it is wide. It's going to dig in way deeper. You're going to see the dew claw behind it. So if the hoof is going this way, you always see that little, like you took 2 fingers and poked them in the snow. And just the stride length is going to be longer. Once you have hunted them very much, you'll quickly get the idea of if you're tracking a bull or if you're tracking a cow. And maybe you're not tracking them, but you just see the tracks in the snow. You will definitely know. Let's see. Hey, Pavel says, can you give a shout out to my boy Rudy? It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Rudy. Hope that works. So someone says, what was the size of the bull your son shot? I have no idea. We haven't got it scored, but it's big. We're really not into scores, so don't know. Will you be hunting Arizona anytime soon? Yeah, next month. And hopefully next fall, maybe I'll draw an elk tag. I don't know. I'm going to try. You never know. I apply a lot. I apply in a lot of places, so there's a chance I could draw. On average, how many hunts do you go on a year? Between my own hunts and hunts I go on with family and friends, usually between 12 and 14 hunts a year. So yeah, I don't see my wife a lot. My wife doesn't see me a lot in hunting season. I love her. She is the best wife in the world. Yeah. Would you swing for the fences on your first choice in Wyoming or just apply for zones that have better odds? I usually just go for the ones that have better odds. And here's a little trick. People ask me, how do you draw so often in Wyoming? Well, in the Wyoming regulations, if you download them, they're out on the website right now. The units that have difficult access have a little asterisk by it that says, caution, access in this unit is difficult. It may something affect your hunt, something like that. It's a warning. Every unit I apply for in Wyoming, for deer, for elk, for antelope, for sure for antelope, not always for deer, but sometimes for deer, have that little asterisk. And that's why we can draw so many tags. A lot of people don't want to mess with this public-private land problem. Well, if you know how to use the OnX system, that public-private thing isn't impossible. Yeah, there's days it's frustrating, and there's days when you look at it and say, darn, I saw 4 bulls today and all of them were on private. I couldn't go after them. But tomorrow you might see 4 bulls that are on public. You have to adapt to the mindset of, I can't go after every elk in those units or every buck, but I'm going to draw tags more often, way more often, than just looking for these glory units that have huge tracts of public land. Those are the really low draw odds, and with good reason. Great elk hunting, lots of elk, and great access. Well, I want to go hunting more often, so I'm willing to deal with the headache of challenging access. And because I'm so accustomed to doing that with my OnX system, not the end of the world. Have I ever killed a black-tailed deer? A Sitka black-tailed deer, but not a Columbia black-tailed deer. When am I coming to northwest South Dakota for a mule deer hunt? I don't know. South Dakota's changing their rules where non-residents are going to get moved even further down the priority list, so odds are South Dakota's not looking good for me. I got friends who go there and they love it, but for me, I don't know if I'm going to get there. Let's see. Have you burned your max points for antelope in Utah, or is that upcoming? I haven't burned them. This is the year I could, and I'd draw any tag in Utah this year if I decide to apply. Not sure what I'm going to do. Do I prefer duck hunting over water or over fields? I prefer doing it over water, but for everyone who likes hunting water, someone else likes hunting fields. I just like hunting wherever they're at. Doesn't matter. Let's see. What's better, a 300 Win Mag or a 7mm? Whatever you can shoot best. How about Nebraska for an upcoming hunt? Marcus and Michael went to Nebraska last spring for a turkey hunt. I couldn't make it. But it's something we've talked about. There's places in western Nebraska that actually have better access than most people think. So we're considering it. Whether or not we'll get there, I don't know, but it's definitely on the list to consider. I'm from the east. How many days do you recommend for me to be in the Colorado mountains before season to get acclimated to the elevation? You'll talk to a doctor. They'll tell you go there a week early. Well, a lot of times that's not practical. I would say if you can, go there 2 days in advance to get acclimated. And whatever you do, don't start exerting yourself, running up and down the mountain as quick as you get there. That will really increase the likelihood of altitude sickness. And I've never had it, but I've talked to people who have, and it sounds like super, super miserable. And yeah, get there as early as you can. I think a couple days would probably get you pretty close. Have we ever filmed a turkey hunt? Yeah, we've filmed a couple of them. They're out on our YouTube channel. Do we ever do hunting in Oregon? We haven't, and the odds are we probably won't. Oregon is a very expensive state for non-residents. For the tags that we would be applying for, the limited entry tags, the percentage of tags they give to non-residents is anywhere from 2 to 5%, a really small percentage, and it's a very expensive non-refundable non-resident license to apply for those tags. So it's just not likely that we're going to be there. Now, I want to go and hunt Roosevelt elk really bad, and my son moved to Oregon a year ago, so I've put him on a mission. You got to figure this out so we can go over there and hunt Roosevelt elk someday. So I might be doing that, but that's over the counter. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like hunting Arizona? 20? I probably have more fun when I hunt Arizona than any other state. I'm trying to think of what state has more fun, more opportunity, more varied game that you can hunt, from big game to small game, varied terrain from the low deserts and the Sonoran cactus all the way up to, I shot an elk there. It's out on our YouTube channel, a film we did called Uncommon Ground. It's even out on our Amazon channel also. I think that bull I shot at over 10,000 feet. So there's just so much opportunity there. So many different opportunities. So I'm wondering, with this YouTube stuff, do you scroll up or scroll down, Marcus?
Down from what I'm on.
What's that?
The newest comments are at the bottom.
That's what I thought. Just figured I better check that out. Holy cow. You guys have left so many questions. Loving it. Llamas are cool, but have you ever gone with pack goats? Nope. Been using them for 8 years and can't say enough about them. Cool. I know people who do use them. I don't. I'm going to stick with llamas. Just got used to them, love them. They got personality. They can carry a lot more. There's some people who will claim that pack goats are a possible risk for transmission or a vector for disease with wild sheep. I don't know if that's true or not, but a lot of people have said that's the case, and I know some of the pack goat people actually go and get their goats tested to see if they're carrying one of those pneumonia viruses. Is it virus or bacteria? So there's quite a few people who use it, and they're very careful about it, but I just have kind of fallen into the gig of llamas. So what's the most dangerous hunt I've been on? I don't know. I don't know that I've been on any dangerous hunts. You know, I guess any elk hunt, I could get hurt, I could fall down the hill, I could get lost, but no, I don't think I've been on anything that's real dangerous. What's my favorite bird to hunt? Oh man, that's not even a question. Ruffed grouse. Ruffed grouse, mountain grouse, grouse, spruce grouse, sage grouse, grouse. Folks, this is how much we like to hunt grouse type birds. In a couple of years, Marcus and I are flying to Alaska, and we're getting there the day before ptarmigan season opens, and we are floating from the Arctic Circle north to is it going to be the Beaufort Sea or the Bering Sea? I think that's the Beaufort up there. We are floating a river north just for the purpose of hunting birds. We're going to eat so many ptarmigan on that trip, we'll grow feathers before we get out of there. We're going to do that. Going to really do that. Oh man, I'm so excited. Someone says, Randy, anywhere you hunt where there are grizzlies is dangerous. Laugh out loud. Wow. Never thought about that. I have had 2 pretty close grizzly encounters. Randy, do you plan to film an elk hunt in Idaho? Corey Jacobson, who I do the Elk Talk podcast with, he and I were on the phone last week, and we decided that we're probably going to do an over-the-counter Idaho elk hunt, general over-the-counter Idaho elk hunt next year. And if for somehow it doesn't work calendar-wise, we'll do it in Montana. But I told him I'd like to do it in Idaho. So there's a really good chance we could be in Idaho next year. If you could go back and give your younger self advice when beginning to accumulate points in all these western states, what would it be? Well, I started applying in 1993 across all these western states. So what's that? 25 years ago. So I was 29 years old at the time. Yeah. Start earlier. Apply in more places, do whatever your budget allows. If that means you gotta not drink as much coffee down at the coffee shop this year, or you gotta give up some other kind of discretionary habit, I would do that. Because when you get to be my age and you got gunny, I've had piles of points in some states. And I've been on some of the best, most amazing, incredible hunts from an experience standpoint. You name a premium tag outside of moose, goat, and sheep. I've had one goat tag, no moose tags, no sheep tags. But elk, deer, antelope, I've hunted some of the most renowned places because I got in on the point system and I started building points and I just stuck with it. And sooner or later, you'll get your chance, hopefully. Randy, why do you wear mittens instead of gloves? This is a good question. Well, if you grew up where I did in northern Minnesota, I grew up right near the Canadian border. We did a lot of beaver trapping, a lot of ice fishing, a lot of snowmobiling. We were outside in the winter all the time. And if you grow up in a country like that where it gets super, super cold and you're in places where you're dipping your hands in and out of water like you are when you're ice fishing or beaver trapping, you quickly realize that gloves are a waste of time. Mittens are where it's at. Why do all of the native people of cold climates wear mittens? Because your hands stay warm. I don't know who came up with the idea of gloves in cold weather. Gloves are great in the cactus or when you got to protect your hands or whatever. When it's cold, get rid of those gloves. Your fingers are going to be cold. You're not going to be able to pull your trigger or your release anyhow. You're going to try to pull them off when it comes time to shoot. Well, I can shake my chopper mitt off in less than a second. If I'm out and I see something I got to act quickly, I just shake it like that, and now I got this really warm hand running my trigger or my release. Anybody who wants to have warm hands, go with chopper mittens. I get mine from Frost River Trading Company in Duluth, Minnesota. Pay full boat for them. They don't send them to me. Yeah, chopper mitts. Trust me on that one. Randy, you talked about your relationship of using products before you had a sponsor relationship. Besides Sitka, what other companies were you using before you were sponsored? The very first rifle scope I had was an El Jipo junkie thing when I was 13. Saved up my money mowing lawns all summer to buy a gold ring scope. I could not believe that this, well, here's the story. A guy in our town, Owen Gordon, owned the hardware store and was my hunter ed instructor, and he was a captain in the Army in World War II. He was like known as the most dialed in guy when it came to rifles and accuracy. And he had these scopes with gold rings on them. I'm like, whoa, I'm gonna save my lawn mowing money and everything. I'm buying one of those gold ring ones. Mowed lawns all summer, went to him, and he gave me a deal on one. And he helped me put it on my rifle. I've been using gold ring Leupold scopes since I was 14. I don't know how else you can say that, as there's never, after that one El Jipo scope I had when I was 13, my rifles have never had anything other than a Leupold scope. Mystery Ranch backpacks. I bought my first Mystery Ranch backpack in 2006 and been using Mystery Ranch ever since then. It was maybe 4 years ago when they actually started maybe 5 years ago, they started giving me packs to use. I think I bought my first 3 or 4 full retail. Walk into the showroom, I want one of those. Kenetrek boots. Jim started Kenetrek in 2005 or 6, something like that. I bought full boat Kenetrek boots. The 2 pairs I bought that are non-insulated Mountain Extreme and a 400 gram Mountain Extreme, I bought those before I even started the TV show and all these platforms. I've been using those ever since. I'm sure there's a bunch more of them. I'm just not thinking of them, but there's a lot of things that you see us use that we were using way, way before the TV show that I've been using all my life. And when you go see our bag dumps out on our YouTube channel, there's a lot of stuff there that I use when their competitors offered me money to use it. But their competitors make junk, so I'm not going to use it. And just, that's simple. So I hope that gives some idea about what you see in our content isn't who's writing us the big check. You don't see us moving from sponsor to sponsor. How embarrassing or insulting is it when you've seen it all, right? The dude's on TV, yeah, I wouldn't have killed my big buck this year without product ABC. Best thing in the world. Next year, he's not using product ABC. The best thing in the world is ABC's competitor, product XYZ. Really, give me a break. You know, he changed because of the money. No, that's not how I do it. There's not enough love or money to get me to use a piece of crap that I don't like. So that's why all the companies who sponsor and support us are products I believe in. Montana Black Gold Sights. Mike Ellig started that, and I can't remember when. The very first bow I bought had a black gold sight on it. When Ripcord came out, I instantly started using them. I'm buying these things. I've never switched, never changed. So all of these companies that you see that are sponsoring this platform, OnX. I bought, when OnX used to be in a GPS chip, I called them and I ordered every chip they had for every state they had. I'm sure Eric had to think, who is this guy in Bozeman who just ordered all these chips? That's me. You know, you list it. Go Hunt. Actually, Go Hunt, the first year they started, I talked to them and said, man, I'd like to use your service. And they're like, yeah, okay. Here's what it costs. Okay, fine. I bought it. So that's just my approach to it. I know other people look at it differently, and that's fine. But for me, if it doesn't work, I'm not using it. Just that simple. All right, where are we at? I thought I saw something. How much do success rates affect your choice of where you hunt? Some 10% draw odd units, say in New Mexico, have lower success rate than the general tag in a couple Montana or Idaho units. Tough to wait for 0.5% draw odds. Yeah, success rates definitely affect where I apply, and that's where earlier when I answered that question, the Go Hunt Insider gives me that right at the tip of my fingers. It's a huge part of my planning of where I'm going to apply. So, no doubt about it. Let's see. Has the Born and Raised crew contacted you? That would be a must-see YouTube. You know, when they first did Land of the Free, the first season, they called me. And unfortunately, our season was already booked. And then I called them last year and said, hey, guys, I want to go hunt Oregon Roosevelt elk. And they're like, oh, man, we're already booked. We invited these people. So every year, it's like we're talking about it, and then we never get to do it. Speaking of which, I got to send them a file. I had them on my podcast, my Hunt Talk Radio podcast. And, hey, sorry, guys. You emailed me while I was on the road asking for the podcast file. I better get it to them. That's a reminder. Don't forget that, Randy. What are the chances of you and OnX teaming up to do another e-scouting series on a species other than elk? You know, that takes a lot of work, and so much of what we did in the e-scouting for elk series is translatable and transferable to other species. I don't know if we're going to do it, but you never know. I'll talk to Matt and Zach and the guys. We got some things on our plate. Let's put it that way. We got a lot going on in the next year with them. We'll see how it goes. Dave asked, when will new episodes show up on Amazon? Someone told me there's 4 new ones up there that got approved this week. I haven't been out there for the last couple days. I know I sent an email inquiring the status, and someone said, hey, I just went out there and there are 4 new ones up, and there are 2 more yet to come. So there will be a total of 11 on season 6 when it's all done. And let's see. I don't know when we'll have season 7 up there. We're working on season 7 right now. Some of these I think I've answered earlier. I'm trying not to duplicate things here. Someone keeps saying you're live. Yeah, I think I know I'm live. Randy, you got any plans on hunting Hawaii? I don't. I probably should. I've been invited a few times, but it never is anything that hit my calendar. Randy, are you worried about CWD getting out of hand in Montana? Yeah, it's going to be an issue. You know, on my Hunt Talk Radio podcast in August, I had two of the premier minds in CWD research and management on the podcast. And what I left from that is 2 things. this is not going away. And 2, don't quit hunting because of CWD. That's the 2 points they left me with. But yeah, I'm worried about it. You look at states in the Midwest who have been dealing with it, they're spending millions and millions and millions of dollars managing CWD. In Montana, our budget, we don't have millions and millions of dollars. We don't have the number of hunters some of those Midwest states have. It is going to be a serious issue here. So I wish it was different, but I think it's here to stay, and we're going to have to deal with it. Randy, what is your favorite all-around big game caliber? It's a toss-up between the 308 and the 7mm08. And you ask 100 people that question, you're going to get about 200 different answers. Would I hunt doe antelope in Colorado? I would if I lived there, lived close by. I can hunt doe antelope in Montana and Wyoming, so odds are I'm probably not going to go all the way to Colorado to hunt doe antelope. Nick says, I love watching this Elk Talk instead of studying for my finals. Hey, Nick, I was the same problem when I was in college, all right? Don't don't be like Randy. Study. be better at your finals. Let's see. Do you do any ice fishing, and if so, what's your favorite lake? I don't do much ice fishing, but Marcus says he's going ice fishing and he's going to film it here in a couple weeks. Do I have any points for the Henry Mountains mule deer? Nope. I don't. I burned all my points in Utah in the Oak Creek unit, and it's a really, really good unit. It was a ton of fun, and I need to get that final. Marcus has it ready to go. He's been waiting for me to give my final little seal of approval for, I looked, he loaded it up last March. What is it, 9 months he's been waiting on me. That's inexcusable. He should fire me. Marcus should fire me. Yeah, someone says, what kind of reticle helps you quickest and easiest in your shooting? I have the duplex or the heavy duplex reticle on all my scopes. Randy, what game will you be hunting when you guys go to New Mexico or go to Arizona next month? Coues deer, javelina, jackrabbits, quail, doves, and ducks. I think. And maybe a Quadamunda if I see one. Randy, does Howa have a 3-stage safety? Yep, it does. It has a very, very good safety. A very safe safety. If you had 4 to 5 points in Wyoming, would you apply for a general elk tag or would you wait? Depends on how bad I wanted to go elk hunting in Wyoming. If I wanted to go the lower price regular draw, I'd probably jump into the general because it takes at least 3, I think, anymore. 2 to 3. If I wanted one of the limited entry units, I would probably go to the special draw with 4 to 5 points and still have a good hunt. Will the falconry guys be in Arizona with you? Yep, they're going to meet us one day. We're going duck hunting with falcons. How cool is that, huh? Oh, man. Yeah, I can't even wait to do it. Gosh. Do you prefer a down sleeping bag or a synthetic sleeping bag? I was a down person until, if you go to the Elk Talk podcast with John Barclow, I can't remember if that was episode 9 or 10. John used to be the equipment guy for the special ops groups in the military. I'm not sure if it was all of them or just the Army. Anyhow, John lived in Kodiak, Alaska, Kodiak Island, and he was all about how do you survive when you get wet and get cold. And after that podcast, John convinced me I should go back to synthetic sleeping bags. So I did. This year I went and bought a 0-degree synthetic sleeping bag. I think it's each their own, but in warm seasons, I'm still probably going to carry my down. But if it's cold or it's any chance of moisture, I suspect I'm going with my synthetic. Why the 308 over the 30-06? because almost ballistically identical. And the 308 is a more efficient cartridge, so it gets almost the same ballistics as a 30-06 with less powder. Less powder means longer barrel life, less recoil. It also has a shorter action, so shorter action, you can end up with a lighter rifle. 30-06 is a great round. Don't get me wrong, I'm not dissing the 30-06 at all. It's great, but I just like the 308 better. Randy, would you ever hunt elk or mule deer on the Laguna Indian Reservation in New Mexico? Yes, I would. And I hunted antelope right next to that one time, and I ran into a tribal member who was telling me how the hunting works there. And the hunting there works unique compared to a lot of the other reservations, so it's always on my list, and I'm not going to tell the world why. There's some things there that are really interesting. So that's enough about that. That's all I got to say about that. What's my favorite DQ Blizzard? Chocolate Extreme with chocolate ice cream. Not that matters for elk hunting, but is the Elk 101 online course helpful? Yes. Go take Corey's Elk 101. I think it's called the University of Elk Hunting. Super helpful. And I might be a little biased because I did a few of the rifle hunting modules for him. So go do it though. That guy has got it dialed in. If you go on an elk hunt with Corey, you're going to be going to school. I've enjoyed hunting with him so much because I learn so much when we're out there. Let's see. So John asks, if you have a bull that bugles back consistently and closes the distance but hangs up every time when he gets any closer than 60 yards, what do you do? Do you get close or get aggressive? Or do you close the yards or get aggressive? Yes. I close the distance and get more aggressive, and I learned that from Corey. What is the farthest distance you are willing to shoot an animal with your bow? I don't know. It depends on circumstances. My pin only goes out to 40. So it's going to be less than 40 or 40 or less. But it might also be less than that, depending on conditions. Maybe there's a heavy crosswind. Maybe it's just, steep downhill, steep uphill. It just depends. It's so circumstantial. I really can't say a true distance, but I have a 40-yard pin. This year I did shoot a bison at 43 yards, and that's about as far as I'm going to be shooting. And I know a lot of people can shoot way further than that. And they're really good archers. I'm starting to enjoy trying to get closer and closer with each stock rather than say, oh, well, this is as close as I can get and let it rip. I get where some people feel, hey, I'm here to fill a tag. For me now, it's about, I just want to get closer. So 40 yards is plenty for me. Randy, is southern Colorado good for elk hunting? Yep. Depends on where you go. Some are better than others, but it's definitely good. Let's see. How high up do you find grouse during archery elk season? Blue grouse, you'll find them all the way, way up. Rough grouse, you'll usually find them down lower. Rough grouse, you'll usually find the rough grouse down more in the lodgepole, some of the mixed forest types, conifer and deciduous. The blue grouse, you're usually going to find those up higher above where the rough grouse are. And the blue grouse actually move higher up the mountain as the season progresses. So, let's see. What was that? Are there too many bow hunters in Montana? Depends on who you talk to. I think there's some states, the residents would say if there's 2 hunters, there's too many. Because if there's more than me, there's too many. So I don't know what's too many. I don't get too worked up about that. I just go. You know, we're in a situation where there's less and less private land available to hunt because of development, because of places getting locked off or leased or whatever. So yeah, I'm sure the public lands feel more crowded today than they were 30 years ago when a lot of the private land was open, but just is what it is. You know, we got to deal with it. Go out, have fun. Don't fret about it. Any chance to come to New Mexico soonish? They give me a tag, I'll be there. That's kind of my theory. Randy, if you had the choice of a Big Mac sauce on a Whopper or just going to McDonald's to get a Big Mac, what choice would you make? I'd get out of the truck and walk before I'd go to any of those places. Yeah, nothing against them. I don't do fast food if I can help it. Marcus will tell you the only fast food I do is Wendy's chili. And Marcus knows when we go to Wendy's, I'm getting a large chili with cheese and onions. Other than that, you're not going to see me at a fast food joint. Do we have a really good one for our final one, Marcus? Or we've been here over an hour. Oh, my son turns 10 in January. Any recommendations for youth pronghorn or mule deer hunts? Yeah. Well, Wyoming has some really good youth programs, less expensive, but I can't remember if theirs is at age 10 or age 12. Arizona, youth can start building points in Arizona as non-residents for $5. A non-resident youth hunting license is $5. Yeah. Go do that. If you're going to build points anywhere for your kids, build them in Arizona for the $5 non-resident license. Youth pronghorn, I would say youth pronghorn and youth deer are probably Wyoming are your best bets. New Mexico has some really good youth elk hunts. All right. Hey, Randy, here's a good final question. What are the hunting causes that we can fight for at this point in time? Well, you can do a volunteer for conservation, whether it's fundraising for conservation, a work project for conservation. You can be a mentor to a youth hunter. You can get involved in the politics of keeping public lands open or expanding access to public lands. You can be a hunter ed instructor volunteer. There's no shortage of things that you can do that are going to help the future of hunting and conservation. So, all right, Marcus, I think we're going to have to call that a wrap, huh? Right. Sorry, folks. We had a failure on Facebook. So we didn't get Facebook tonight, but due to Marcus's ingenuity, Mr. MacGyver Marcus, we did end up on YouTube and we did end up on Instagram. So hopefully that works for everyone. Thanks a lot. We're going to be here next Wednesday. Next Wednesday isn't Christmas, is it?
It's Tuesday, I believe, isn't it?
Christmas is Tuesday? All right. Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks for watching.